So, Mark, you've now had 10 books of fiction and folklore published since 2008. How did you get into fiction writing and folklore telling?
Ah, yes, right. Well, I took early retirement and then I moved to the Derbyshire Peak District in 2002, whereupon I set up an online editing business to keep some income. And I started to collect local folk tales because I joined a local storytelling group. And then I learned how to tell them effectively. And then I decided to try my hand at fiction writing. Surely that wasn't going to be difficult. During my medical and scientific careers, I'd had to write case reports and journal articles and the occasional monograph, so I knew how to spell and to use words precisely and to construct grammatical sentences and punctuate correctly and express myself succinctly. Well, there could be much more to fiction writing, could there? Now, of course, what I overlooked is that good technical writing is cold, objective, devoid of emotion, and very much tell, not show. So, no, I think the curtain of charity should be drawn over my first attempts to write fiction. But I persisted, and practice gradually made less imperfect. And I got rid of some of these long accumulated writing habits. I made headway. I got a few stories into magazines. But it was 6 years, 2008, as you rightly said, before I got a book published. This was Rope Trick. It was a collection of 13 stories. It was published by Ash Tree Press in Canada. And they're the publishing arm of the Ghost Story Society. But there aren't any ghosts in that book. They're just weird. Okay. And then I got a children's story published by a little publishing house in Texas. It was just e-published, and that was quite well liked. Then I got a novel published in the USA, which sailed with all the grace of a bottomless boat. So I forget that one. It just sank, and it happens. And then my little book, my case study about the murders in the Winnet's Pass legend, was published by Amberley in Gloucestershire. And a year later, the same publishing house published my little collection of Peak District folk tales, which is very imaginatively entitled Folk Tales of the Peak District, 62 little stories in there. And then, well, my mother was in the final years of her life, and round-the-clock caring duties meant I couldn't do anything else except run the editing business and look after the house. And I couldn't start trying to write again until after she passed away. Whereupon, I found I couldn't. I'd lost my confidence. No, I know you might not believe that, but I did. And it was when I first joined a writing group. Joining a writing group is something I strongly recommend as a confidence builder. And at last, in 2016, I approached FBP for the first time with my little collection of performance pieces, which involve hideous puns. This is Cruel and Unusual Punishments with an extra N in punishments. And they accepted it and went with it, and that was me up and running again. My little publishing house in Texas published another ebook called The Definitive Biography of St. Arboreus of Glossopdale and His Thin Dog. FBP have otherwise published my other more recent books in 2018, National Cake Day in Ruritania, which got nominated for the Republic of Consciousness Award. Rather an honour. Didn't win anything, of course. And then in 2019, the Enclimastat, which I see you've got on your shelf there, which is rather nice.
I've started it.
Well, I hope you'll enjoy it. It is, I warn you, not suitable for persons under 18 or those of a nervous disposition.
I like to juggle the books with different genres and read sort of 2 or 3 at a time. So
I do the same myself. And then, of course, recently we've got the Cat of Doom. Okay, so that's my writing story, such as it is.
right, and that's interesting for you. You know, your comments about losing your confidence, and
Yeah.
I suppose that's something that happens, especially with new authors, where
Yes.
you know you haven't even sort of got a step on any ladders or anything, and that you just you know, if you get a harsh critique like I did, that you just think, do you know what,
So
can't do this.
you've got to live with those, Simone. We all get them. I mean, and when I say we all get them, I mean, you look at Booker Prize winners and Nobel Prize winners, literary prize winners, and look at the reviews they've got on Amazon. And somewhere along the lines, there'll be 1-star reviews and saying, I hated this thing, it's rubbish, you know. And these are magnificent pieces of literature. So nasty criticisms hurt, bad critiques hurt, of course they do.
Yeah.
But always remember that. The best writers get them.
I certainly felt that when I had my first critique, it just sort of just made me go back. Well, I was advised to put it away for a few weeks,
Yeah.
and get Christmas out of the way, and then come back to it. And that was the best advice I sort of had. And in the end,
yes.
I think that it served me well, because it made me thread some different things into my story. So seemed bad at the time, but I think in the end it did me a favour.
They do. I mean, they have an astringent effect due to harsh criticisms. You know, we need them. We need critical critiques. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, constructive criticism, I think it is the key, isn't it? It's not just to just fire everything down and say no, it's rubbish. You know, you need something to work on, and that's what I was given, which was good. I didn't really take on that person every suggestion that she'd made. I was thinking no, but it did make me think, and it did make me certainly put stuff into my story, and I'm sure that will be something that's happened to you as well.
Yes, it has. Oh yes. I mean, I've you know, from FBP, I've had some very good constructive suggestions. But on the other hand, I would never send anything to a publisher without having another pair of eyes on it beforehand. You know,
Yeah.
I get all the writers to look at what I've done.
Definitely.
And they say, "Oh, for goodness sake, Mark, you can't send that anywhere." You know, then I think again.
Okay, well, thank you for that, Mark. I think that's covered that subject very nicely. Thank you.
Thank you, Simone, very much.